Bob writes about it. Jim talks about it. But Chuck did something about it.
Foreman on a big hole across the 10. He's something else. He's out in touchdown land. He's something else, baby.
Now, here's longtime columnist Bob Sansevere, Fox 9's Jim Rich, and the great number 44,
Double 4.
Chuck Foreman.
Welcome to the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, Fox 9's Jim Rich. I'm Bob Sansevere, and of course, the other legend and superstar, Mike Morris is with us, and Tyler Ganz from the Window Store. Tyler, well, first of all, I wasn't in the studio when you talked with us last week. Welcome to the JimBob Sports Jamboree, first of all. And I know you're on the road doing a lot of important things, but the first thing I want to ask you, you saw how bad the Vikings played last week. Now they play another bad team. Will they beat the Tennessee Titans? Your thought?
Well, I got to tell you, Bob, I bleed purple all day long, all night since I was a child. I will never say the Windows are not going to, or the Vikings are not going to win. Skull.
Oh, can't get those windows out of your mind. The window's not closing shut on them. The window's open for a win from the Window Store. All right, Tyler, I know you're busy today. Thanks so much for joining us. And now I got to go to Mike and Chuck and Jim with this question. Did Sam Darnold become the Sam Darnold of the New York Jets again?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, hey, I'm not going there with you. I'm just not going to do it. First of all, here's what happens. Okay? When you get confidence in your receivers. Now, this is what I'm saying. I think one or two of those interceptions were tipped. Number one. The one he threw, he may have underthrew it just a hair, but there was a challenge between JJ and the DB to get to that ball. Okay, now normally 90% of the time JJ is going to make that play.
Yeah.
All right, so when you got a guy that can make plays, you're going to challenge him to make those kind of plays. Now, unfortunately, if they don't go that way, he'll look bad, no question about it. But, you know, I am a Sam Darnold guy. I believe in everything he does. I think he brings a good game to our system, and I think with the right coaches, heck, he's been with horrible teams all his life. So, hey, there was another guy who threw 5 interceptions last week.
Jared Goff. That's
all
right.
right.
Now, you know what, Chuck? See, I'm the kind of guy I jump on and off the bandwagon.
Yeah, right.
I'm off it right now. Mike, what do you think?
I'm with Chuck on that. I think that he's been here now, 7 wins worth out of 9 games, and he started and completed all those games. I think that you're always good for one of those bad games that he just had.
Now, Jim, you and we talked about this earlier. You're the one who first brought it up. I'm not taking credit for it. You said they should re-sign him and keep him. You still feel that way?
Yeah. Yes.
I do too.
I think there's too much there to throw away. And if you sign him now, and J.J. McCarthy looks tremendous in OTAs and minicamp next year, well, somebody's going to need a quarterback in this league. You see all the teams scrambling, trying to find a body that can.
We can always find another
wait,
team.
But everybody needs 2 quarterbacks, as we see in the NFL. You get one go down, you're in trouble. And these young guys, to me, Sam Darnold's a rookie, in my opinion. Because the 3 teams that he's been with before, when he first got in the league, he was with a horrible football team, with a horrible offense, no offensive line. He's catching up, no coaching. And I think O'Connell's done a really good job with him. Now, I watched him when he came off the field after that third interception, the second and third interception. Coach went right up there to him. And sometimes you got to hold that ball or get it out quick. And that's his problem. I think he held it once too long. And then
more than once.
Well, okay, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay,
maybe it was better with Bob.
I'm with you on that.
But I'm just saying, everybody's jumping off the thing. Hey, the guy. Hey, look at the things that he does. And I didn't know he was that fast either, and that much of a scramble.
He's lightning in a bottle.
The guy's a good athlete. There's no question about it.
I'm re-signing him, and I'm sticking to him.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, this is a double-edged thing, because you made the comment about it. the line's giving him time, but he'd taken to get rid of the ball once in a while. And that 15-play drive,
right?
I don't think he threw to Foreman, or excuse me, Chuck Foreman.
Okay, right. Okay.
The other superstar they have there, the other
I would have caught it.
making, they didn't throw to Justin Jefferson till he threw the interception.
Right.
I mean, how do you not have him one of the guys in a 15-play drive?
Did you see how they were shutting him down?
I don't, Chuck. You know what?
I mean, come on.
Defenses tried shutting you down. They couldn't because you got open. Am I wrong? Nope.
Every now and then that happens. I don't care how good you are. They had a good game plan in for Justin Jefferson. Now, what they didn't do, once you double and triple teaming him, there should be people open.
And his tight ends were open.
Yeah, well.
But I still think 15 plays. Come on. Are you concerned about that at all?
No, I'm not.
Hey,
I'm really not.
no,
We used to
wait.
use Randy Moss in a way
Right.
where we would put him out there and just let him draw two
Right,
people,
right.
sometimes three people, and send them out there, and they're paid to catch the ball.
Right.
Too. And they do find a way to go.
Hey, what's the record?
7-2.
That'd be 7-2.
7-2.
7-2.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
good with it.
Okay.
But see, Chuck,
okay.
this is the good thing about this. And I'm not the only one. The fans are complaining, but they're complaining because they have an expectation of more because the team, the way it started out, has raised the expectation for this team. This is not a bad thing to be critical of them.
No, it's not. But listen, the defense was off kilter a couple of games. Now they seem to be back. Heck, they won the game. What was it, 12-7?
Yep.
Okay.
4 field goals.
And that says the defense is doing their job. Obviously, the offense didn't do what they normally do, but heck, every now and then they're going to have off, and great teams win with defense.
That's what happened with Detroit when Goff threw 5 interceptions.
All right,
Their
well,
defense stepped
right,
up.
they stepped up, but like
So
5
Are you
interceptions.
cutting Goff?
What's that?
Are you cutting Goff? Are you calling for Detroit to
Yeah. Oh,
bench him
yeah.
immediately?
I didn't say anything about benching. I'm just asking. I asked the question.
Well, you wanted to bench our guy Sam Darnold.
I didn't say I wanted to bench him. I just said, is it a concern? Are you worried? After this week, if he gets beat up by Tennessee and screws up, then you'll be worried.
But Bob, I've been around you for a few years now, and I kind of get an idea of this. Somewhat what you thinking. I'm thinking you want him to
I'm
cut
with Chuck
him.
on that. I think your tone is wrong.
Yeah.
I think your tone.
Well, Chuck, your tone is a little
You're being,
inappropriate.
you're being short with us about Darnold. I think you want him off the field.
Yeah,
is what you
yeah,
want.
yeah.
And how are we going to put? How are we going to put JJ?
Who are you
going
gonna put it? No, but wait a minute.
Wheel him out there.
JJ ain't even a who.
You want to know what? In that game the other day, you know what Darnold was? He was early Darnold, and he was Mullins. Mullins can put up numbers, but he's going to put up interceptions too. That's what Darnold was doing.
All right.
Here's what I think.
I'm saying the guy had a bad. He didn't have the best
game.
game. He had a bad game.
I would say this too: that when you have a stretch of wins like we had coming out of the chute, teams are going to get onto that though. Yeah. I mean, and they'll try and figure it out, and they will eventually figure it out. Even to our defense, they've shown that they can do that. They can expose the defense a little bit. It's up to the coordinators at that point to be able to play chess and match. And come back and make another counter to be able to take away what they've tried to take away or what they're giving up to be defensively.
I'm glad you said coordinators because here's my next question. Should he continue calling the plays, head coach?
Yeah.
And also, but if he does, should he not be having end arounds when he's in the red zone?
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
That one didn't go.
That's one of those out coaching yourself kind of deals.
Getting to thinking more than you know a little bit.
That's
throwing the dice.
That wasn't a good call, but all in all, for me, what I'm seeing in the Vikings, sure, it's not been perfect, but we're 7-2. Heck, we in the hunt.
You are.
We're halfway through.
All right. Do you think take the schedule? I thought weeks ago. Chicago's going to be the next tough game. They had 3 games I thought they could win. Well, they didn't beat the Rams, but Chicago suddenly looks like a team that's a walkover. They're in disarray. They've been switching coordinators. The kids be really in trouble. So, but what I'm getting at is the Vikings have a shot. If they get past Green Bay, which will be coming up, they could go, with 2 losses against Detroit. That could be to decide the NFC North.
Exactly. And I think
you think that could happen?
I think that could happen. Because I think after watching Chicago, they had serious issues, and it's like Justin Fields all over.
Yep. Well, Chuck, this goes right to your point that you've made every time. These rookies, you can't throw them in rookie years.
No, they gotta.
There's just too much of a step
But like I
from
said,
college football to the NFL.
Even Patrick Mahomes sat for a year.
Yep, Alex Smith.
And he got this, and then obviously what he showed in practices and everything else, they decided to go with him. But then he had that year to watch and observe. You throwing these guys in there, it's not like college. Where you can just pull it down, run, and you got guys.
And you don't have 3 games against MAC schools where you get to feel what it's really like and develop.
Right.
You're throwing right in against the best of the best, right, Mike?
Live rounds. I mean, if you're not facing live rounds in practice over on scout team or anything or whatever the case, you got to get in and actually play at full speed with the starters, and you have to do that, and you have to also sit back in a chair and let the veteran show you where to go or what the read is or what the primary is and what to check down to. It helps to be coached up for a year in the film room. And then after you see things develop, where if you're covered here, you can check down and throw back. That all comes from watching a lot of film and a guy out there on the field executing that.
Well, and another part of this for a quarterback is you've got to be the alpha, right? Everybody looks to you when the chips are down, when we're behind, when we need a drive in the fourth quarter. Everybody's looking at you, and that's a rookie, and you have no street cred with this group of guys.
That's true.
So not only are you learning it, trying to execute, you got to get everybody else to believe that you know what the heck you're doing.
Oh, I mean, when you walk in the huddle, they know if you're confident or not. They know. The older guys know right away whether you can carry yourself in the huddle. And then when you break the huddle, is this kid, is he awake yet, or is he? What's he going to do?
But I like the old way of thinking when I came in. Rookies really didn't play,
right?
Unless you were
you.
Well, I didn't start the first game.
He didn't start one game.
I didn't start, but I came in a couple of series later.
You finished it.
But what I'm saying is, but for the most part, especially quarterback position, you weren't starting it. You need time. This game is quicker, faster, and the guys are humongous. They're bigger, faster. It's to me, it's the game is like, as far as the nutrition part of the how conditioning is and everything else. It's those guys. It's a different type of game.
All right, we got to take a quick break, but I want to remind people again, the Window Store, premium home solutions at affordable prices. You check out the Window Store. Ask for Tyler. He'll help. Anybody from the staff will help you. They do so much for you and your home. It'll really get things going. You're talking about windows, kitchen, siding, roofing, doors. They'll do it all at the Window Store. We're going to take a quick break in the JimBob Sports Jamboree. We'll be right back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree with a couple of legends. Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, Vikings legend and the superstar Mike Morris, and Jim Rich from Fox 9. This show is brought to you by The Window Store. Premium home solutions at affordable prices. Minnesota is the home of The Window Store.
You think it's not?
Okay, here I got to ask you a question. I talked about the way they played last week, the Vikings, and they played like, let's just be honest, they played like garbage. They were crap. It's like driving to Dodge at Burnsville, and all those other dealers are garbage and crap. But then what the Vikings have to do this week against Tennessee is play the way you're going to find yourself when you get to Dodger Burnsville.
That's a great analogy.
Top rate.
I love the way you set that up, by the way, because you'll pass a recycling plant with a bunch of cars parked out in front. They'll call it a car dealership. It's not. It's really a dumpster. It's a trash yard. Then you drive past another landfill, and then you find another place where you might it's like Goodwill. You wouldn't even go in and take one if they gave one to you off their lot because they're all garbage. And so if you do stop off and go to, I'll save you a lot of time. Don't go to the trash dumps. Go instead to Dodge of Burnsville. It's in Burnsville, for God's sake. It tells you right there on the sticker, Dodge of Burnsville. Slide right in there and pull up. They'll have a red carpet, maybe, and 5 gold stars on the window, maybe. But you walk in. I don't really think they have that. But listen, they'll treat you that way. You go in there and you say hi to him, say hello to Mark Saba. He's been there forever. His son now taking the business over, Adam Saba. Head on down to the service department. You get that free oil change. They give you a card. If you buy a unit there, you get a free oil change or 2, I think, each year. So, hey, do it that way and save yourself all the time. Don't recycle yourself in your effort. Just go down to Dodge of Burnsville. It's in Burnsville, right off Cliff Road and 35W. And it's in Burnsville, as I said. And tell them the Superstar
Where
Mike
is it?
Morrison.
Where is it?
Right, yeah, it's right. It's right in the town between Egan and Bloomington. Yeah, Burnsville. So head on over there and tell them that the Superstar Mike Morrison sent you.
Now, Jim, you know what? You and I, we need to hop in our car or truck. We should drive down to Nashville, because did you know what's going to happen in Nashville besides the Vikings? On Saturday, from noon to 4, you go to Will Hagen's in Nashville on Saturday, November 16th, and you're going to have a Vikings legend meet and greet with Chuck Foreman.
Exactly.
And then, okay, you missed that one. Let's say we get lost on the way.
Yeah, or your plane's late or something. You don't land in time. All the Viking fans that are heading down there, you get a second chance to hang out.
And where's the second chance?
Well, the second one will be at PBR Nashville. So, or you could go to both.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you tell somebody, hey,
let's go?
You went to the first one. You're not coming to the second one.
Well, I'm going to go to both.
That's right.
That's how you roll right there.
Now he listens to the show, so he'll know. But I'm going to call him too and remind him. Dave Bialke from Bialke Law went. He was down in Jacksonville. He's going to Nashville.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell him to hit those places, and he will, because he goes with like a dozen friends.
Good. I'm be looking forward to meeting him.
So he's a great guy.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to going to Nashville.
It's a great city.
It is. I like Nashville.
Yeah,
I used to go there. I used to go there as a kid in the summer, every now and then, because one of my mother's best friends was a professor at Fisk University, and her husband was a professor at Tennessee State. And that's where I saw this guy. You remember Eldridge Dickey?
Oh yeah.
He was the quarterback there when I was, like in 10th grade or 9th grade. I don't know what it was. That's the first time I ever saw a quarterback drop back with balls in both hands, and they had tires up, and he could throw left or right.
You hit them both?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
And just like probably the greatest athlete we never heard of play quarterback, because they made him a wide receiver.
Ooh. Yeah,
in Oakland.
That's a shame. So
Chuck, just to wrap up the Nashville event,
Right.
It's PBR Nashville, 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock on Saturday, November 16th. Autographs, pictures, and exclusive stuff they got going on.
Shuttles are going from Will Hagen's to PBR.
Oh, there are shuttles going.
There's shuttles going between both places as well.
Right.
So
Nice.
They got it done
go to
right.
Chuck's social stuff, figure them out, chuckforeman44.com. You can find it all right there. All
Now,
right.
Mike, the reason I want to go to Nashville, barbecue.
That's where what's the name of the place we're going? We're going to go. Is it starts with the E. Eddie's or Edney's?
Well, all the people from Milwaukee and PBR are going to be there with you.
Yeah, but wherever we go, we're going to definitely. We researched the barbecue.
Okay.
Last night, Christina and I, and we
found a good place.
Well, there was like 3 or 4 of them, so we decided to watch these people that go in and evaluate the menus and stuff.
Yeah.
So this Edney's or whatever, I think that's the name of it, barbecue.
When you do barbecue, what do you get? I'm just getting the ribs. That's all I want.
I get the
pork
ribs.
ribs?
I get the ribs. Yeah, definitely.
Because a lot of people like the,
I don't like the baby ribs. I get the
real
spare
ones.
ribs,
Yeah.
right?
I want a pig that really lived a good life.
I want that, and I want some good cornbread and some baked beans and some coleslaw and all that other stuff that comes with it down south. Okra.
Well, what about Iowa?
Well,
you guys got
we
you got
do a lot
barbecue.
we're a lot like the Bible Belt. We can do it down there. Collard greens, on the farm.
Oh, definitely.
You got the cornbread, you got the St. Louis style ribs. I mean, come on, man.
I've been in your hometown.
Tell me what you thought. Just in one word. 1 to 10. 1 to 10. 10 being fantastic. 1 being just a lousy dumpster.
No, I'm not going to say that. It was a nice little town.
That's good enough.
But
right
it's
there.
a little town.
That's good enough right there. That's a small town.
All right. Now I gotta switch to Mike. I gotta ask this question. The Vikings had a new kicker and a new long snapper. I give them both credit for what they did. How tough is it for a long snapper to come in and just get the coordination with the holder, or is that not a big deal?
It's not a big deal for the
Not for
snapper.
you.
It is a big deal for the holder, though. I think
He
it's
has
a
to
big
get
deal
used to it.
to know where and how to catch, if he's really bringing it back fast or not, to be able to know if he's getting the laces and getting the ball down the right way for the kicker and getting the lean. Every kicker has a different lean on the football where you set it down. So it can be different for every kicker. So the holder has the biggest adjustment there.
Was your goal always? Did you watch footage of it of when you got the ball to him? The laces. He didn't have to twist it, right?
Didn't
he
have
got
to turn
right
it.
where.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 revolutions.
Is that with every holder? Or
No,
is it,
it's different on your distance. The distance you are back from the snapper.
Who chooses that? The holder or the kicker?
Kicker, and you don't want to come up closer because then you have a chance of someone getting a hand on it. So you want to be back a little different. I'd say 7 yards would be the minimum.
What's the longest you've seen a guy go back?
I've snapped 8.
Okay, so that's a big difference.
That's a big difference. And if you get back too far, that brings the edges up quicker too. I mean, it's a flatter edge. Nick Lowry, Kansas City.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he was a hell of a kicker.
A great kicker. Yeah. But
where was Gary Anderson? Was he a 7?
Gary was 7.5. 7.5, and then Mitch would put 2 fingers on that mark and be back 2 more fingers from that. It comes out to that much, and you have to keep your hands over that spot for the revolutions to come back.
Mitch was a hell of a holder.
He was a great player.
Was he one of the best or the best?
He was a good holder. I think Mike Saxon was probably about as good as I saw, and the best guy was on the bench, Brad Johnson. He and Chris Walsh could do anything. They were really soft hands. Both those guys could put them down any way you wanted them.
But they came along when Chuck played. It was the backup quarterback who was the holder, right?
That was Paul Krause.
Exactly.
Paul Krause.
Paul Krause was right. Paul Krause was
the
holder.
best hands you could possibly have. Paul Krause.
He was, Paul. People don't know he was one great athlete in college. He played football, basketball, and whatever else he did. Baseball.
Baseball. He was University of Iowa. He played baseball.
Iowa,
they wanted him to play basketball at University of Iowa, but the football team had too much to say about that. But I guess he used to school up Connie Hawkins.
No, no, man.
Oh yeah, he did.
You just taking it a little too far.
But no.
I'm not saying he wasn't a good basketball player.
Back then, Connie wasn't what he was with the Suns.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You better. Hey, you don't know nothing about New York City basketball. You ain't from the East Coast.
Well, that was when he was in Iowa. I'm not talking about when he was out, with the Suns or whatnot. Paul Krause could do anything.
Connie Hawkins.
He was great. He's watching.
Was the greatest legend in New York City.
I hear
him and Dr. J.
Dr. J.
This will set him off. I hear he actually beat Earl of Pearl Monroe in a one-on-one too. Paul Krause.
Look at that.
Earl of Pearl he's from what, Philly?
Earl of Pearl is a guy who
that's my guy. Yeah, that's where I got my spin. Hey, I watched the spin move the other day. I don't know who it was.
Saquon Barkley. What did you think of that?
That was unbelievable.
Not only a spin move. Did you ever do that? Jump over
no,
backwards.
I mean, he had good. That's what you say, good run vision. Because I don't know how he saw that guy, but he had, I mean, his peripheral must be exceptional. And it was just like he just saw it, and next thing you know, I'm like, what the heck?
To go backwards like you've vaulted over guys.
Yeah,
did you ever do it after a spin move like he did? It was like almost one step.
It was like a one-of-a-kind thing that I don't think anybody's ever done that.
Jim, make just about every highlight package in the country?
It's got to.
It seems like a dangerous thing to do.
You could get him back? You could tell him you always read Patrick Royce. You skipped his columns.
Well, who didn't? I mean, everybody reads Patrick. You have to read him and get 12 paragraphs deep to know what he's talking about. No, that's not right.
Oh, there's that competition coming out.
Yep. No, I think the world of
I
Patrick.
think you found it there. Then he'd read Suhan. You'd read that first before you.
Yeah, that's what I'd learned from. Now if I was still right now, you'd be saying,
you'd be the only one.
Reads good. I'd be doing AI. Yeah. I'd be sharing Bob Sansevere and AI. That AI is unbelievable.
Isn't it?
It is.
It's almost scary.
For the BS show, a guy that's what they do. Companies come to him, they implement different AI. He got a Louisiana sounding guy to talk about the Vikings. You would think it was somebody from Louisiana. It's unbelievable what they can do.
Generate anything.
As a matter of fact, we're AI. We're not even here. Yeah. We just gave them a couple of words, and then they hit in Chuck, the superstar, Jim Rich, Bob Sansevere, talk about the Vikings. This is what you're hearing.
Yeah. I've never been accused of being AI. I've been accused of being AO.
Well, pretty soon we're all going to be replaced.
Not you. Chuck, you know what would save it? Chuck Foreman cloning rights.
I'm really close to signing a deal.
Let's get that deal done.
Yeah, we're going to do something.
The first guy that does it is the one that's going to make the huge dough. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Especially, what if this guy wasn't as good as you?
Exactly. I'm telling you, we're going to get some cloning rights.
This is why it has to be now.
Right.
Got to be now. Because they can get in on the ground floor. You become a Hall of Famer, which you will. My God, the price is going to soar for that cloning rights.
That's right. Hold out.
No, we get that's what we do.
That's your leverage. It's a bargaining chip.
Yes.
But not just the two guys at the table. Nobody wants us. But him as a clone of him, too. Best long snapper in NFL history.
Right.
And that's not us saying it. That's people who know
I
saying it.
appreciate you saying that.
It's true.
It hasn't gotten me a cup of coffee yet. I always like to say that, but
Well, you got an iced tea or
I was the only long snapper that could bench 550.
I don't doubt. My God, I don't doubt that.
There you go. See,
550.
Yeah, I couldn't play football, but I could lift weights.
I could lift the weight.
Yeah,
You could probably come close to that now, right? The 550.
475 probably.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You look like you can throw it up there because I saw you get out of your truck this afternoon.
He's incredible. Both of you guys. All right, we got to wrap up. We got to wrap up. When we come back, I'm going to give him accolades.
Okay.
All right. This show brought to you by the Window Store, and again, like I said, roofing, doors, siding, kitchens, you name it. That windows too, by the way. It's like Dodge of Burnsville. Where is it? It's in Burnsville.
That's
the
where it
Window
is.
Store. They'll get your windows. Goes without saying.
Yeah, and the thing about Tyler is he's giving deals right now, 20% off all services, or if you buy one, you get one with a window, minimum of 4. And he explained here last week to us his philosophy. This isn't like, oh, I got some inventory I got to get rid of, move it out. He wants to keep working during the winter because of the crews he hires and the guys that work for him.
Right.
He doesn't want to lay them off. He wants to provide for these guys year round. So when you're working with guys like Tyler, you're getting a guy that cares about his employees and he's going to care about the work he does for you.
That's terrific. Again, the Window Store. The Window Store Inc.
is the website.
Yeah, thewindowstoreinc.com. Check that out. Meanwhile, check this out. The JimBob Sports Jamboree. Take a quick break, and we will be right back. We are back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree. Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, the superstar Mike Morris. Jim Rich, I hear you're an ace.
Yeah,
Or you got some information about that.
Yeah. I kind of know a little bit. I know that's the place when you need something.
I saw what you did there.
Right.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks. It's hard to say. But I know that Jim is one of those guys that always has an ace up his sleeve. So I know that. So look, step on over to Pleachi's Ace. They have 4 locations. The Pleachi's are getting Ace aboard. They will be joining statewide. But for the time being, Pleachi's gets the full credit. Amanda Stender comes to the table and helps me put that package together. They've got 4 locations in Farmington and in Rosemont and in Eagan. The last one would be, let me guess. No, there shouldn't be any guessing. Anyway, they've got 4 locations, and step on out there. If you're looking for paint, don't wander around like a complete fool in a warehouse trying to match paint up yourself. You'll botch it. You'll mess it up every time. They have technology where they can match up all the paints at their store. They can find it, and they can duplicate the paint that you need to cover your wall or to go make another choice for another new wall. But don't wander around anymore like a fool, like a marauding lion. Just get to it. Ace is the place, I'm telling you, for the helpful hardware folks. Get over there today and say hi to those good people at Pelici's. Oh, Zumbrota, by the way, is the 4th location. So,
There you
Zumbrota.
go. I knew you'd get it.
Yeah, see, it was just a matter of time.
Right.
And anyway, don't wait to get over there and get all the things you need for your projects. Okay? Do it today. Tell them the superstar sent you.
All right, Mike. Chuck is still in Sam Darnold's corner. You're in Sam Darnold's corner. Bob is got the door open for him. What does the players in the locker room need to see this week against Nashville out of him? Because they held the ball for 42 minutes, over 42 minutes. That's the most any team has had the time of possession this season in the NFL.
It was amazing. That third quarter was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was like 10 minutes at least, if not a little bit more than that. And then, of course, the interception. But you have to understand what the players are looking for in the locker room, I think, is confidence in the coaching staff to not waver, to not blink on something like this and be a knee-jerk reaction. And you want the locker room to feel that way. Like, we know the starter is going to be Sam Darnold. We know he's going to come back and play better. We know that confidence in the team, that rolls through the entire team if the coaching staff doesn't blink and listen to all the media and all the hype. That's 4 things that Bill Belichick preaches. He has 4 standards. Don't believe the hype. Don't listen to the noise. Manage your own expectations. And he's got another 4th one that was on the wall. That was a big deal. But he was definitely, speak for yourself, by the way. The 4th one, speak for yourself.
Okay.
And so it all comes down to that. The locker room has to be behind the quarterback. The coaches will exude that confidence throughout the team if they just say, next up. Next team, let's go. That's all they have to do.
Yeah,
To answer anything about 3 interceptions, he's going to do that. Everyone's going to have something like that. The worst of I guarantee you Patrick Mahomes has had a 3-interception game. He played one of his worst football games of his entire career in a Super Bowl and came back and won it in the end. Mm-hmm. I think it was the first win against the 49ers. But he had a terrible game, and he'll tell you that. But he came back and he became the MVP of that Super Bowl for coming back and winning the game with 14 points in the fourth quarter against the Niners.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what you just need to have that confidence and a coach that believes in you.
Well, and O'Connell certainly does
I think
because
he
he even said it. We get it at Fox when we do our Sunday night show, Vikings postgame tonight. The Vikings share with us his speech. Mm-hmm. And we're one of the few that get the whole thing, and he sends it to us. And in there, when he's handing out the game balls, he applauded Sam. Mm-hmm. Right? And he stood up for him and he said, this SOB was right there for us. He got it. He kept fighting. We love Sam, And he was asked about that Monday. Mm-hmm. They said, well, were you giving him a vote of confidence because you're worried about the team? He goes, no, those post-game speeches are from the heart. Mm-hmm. That just comes out of me. He says, I don't sit and calculate, I haven't talked much about the left tackle that backs up the third tackle. I should give him a little love. He says, that's from the heart. And so when I'm saying that and giving those balls, he says, that's truth. That's truth coming out. And so he says, I didn't even realize I said it till you guys brought it up. It was just part of what he did that day.
And that's what players see. And they appreciate that because they know he's got that confidence in Sam. And that's what you want in your coach when you're having kind of like an off game. And I'm sure when they go back and they do the game planning for this week, I'm sure they're going to come out and adapt a little bit in the beginning of the game to make sure you get some of those throws out quicker, get a little bit more confidence and get a little bit better read on how quick these guys react to certain things. And then he'll be just fine.
Everyone stinks the place up every now and then. Everyone does. They're human. They're not like AI and like everything else that's artificially generated. They're human beings out there, and they're trying to make it just like everybody else is. And the great ones do manage to do it more often than most. That's why you have the Patrick Mahomes and so on and so forth. But it's, and I think Goff is a great quarterback. I really do. He had 5 interceptions last week and found a way to win. So that speaks to itself because they don't quit. They keep coming out on the field and trying to fix it. And that's all you can ask for.
Plus, this is the ultimate team sport.
I agree. I totally agree.
That's just the way it is. You can have one great basketball player. He can lead you to the finals. He might not win it. Yeah. But when you come to the NFL, that's not the way it's going to happen.
That's right. I mean, yes, you can throw a lot of touchdowns. You can pull a lot of 6-pointers up. But if someone doesn't come in and kick an extra point every time you make a touchdown, you're going to be behind at the end of the game.
And I will say this, though. One great running back can take you to 3 Super Bowls. May not win them, but he'll get you there. Chuck Foreman, by the way, for all you Hall of Fame voters for the senior committee, Chuck, Foreman, number 44. All right?
You're right.
Boom.
Just wanted to
like it.
Checking.
It needs it out there. It needs it out there. And there's
only guy that ran like that. There's no one else like Chuck Foreman. He was a one-off. One-off. They compare LaDainian Tomlinson, blah, blah, blah. No way.
No.
The jump cut was here. The spin move was here.
Yeah.
It was you emulated yourself after the basketball player. You just said it.
Earl the Pearl.
Right. Earl the Pearl.
He's not alive yet, is he?
Yes, I think so.
Well, let's get a hold of him. We'll do like we'll offer you. You can have the Chuck Foreman cloning rights or Chuck Foreman and Earl of Pearl Monroe.
Well, yeah.
How about that? You do them both.
I got to reach out to him.
Well, we'll do a tandem with you two.
Yeah.
Because imagine that, though. What you could do, not just you could play on the line, too.
I could play. I wasn't going to start anywhere because I just was not as good as the players that were in front of me, but I could
put it this way:
guard or tackle.
Yes, you were not going to play left guard because the guy ahead of you is a Hall of Famer, Randall McDaniel.
It was that way up and down the offensive line for us.
You had great offensive linemen.
And they never missed a game. And
who was the right guard?
That was the sketchiest one. I mean, we had a lot of guys filling in at that.
David Dixon was done then, right?
Dave Dixon. No, Dixon played well after I was done, actually. He played very well at that position. He actually solidified.
He was good.
He was a good player.
And Stussy was obviously
Stussy was left tackle.
Yeah.
We had Stringer out there at right tackle. We had Christie or whomever at center. And
that was a hell of a line.
They were great players.
Yeah,
they were great players. And I wasn't
reliable.
going to play in front of them. It's just the way it is. And they weren't going to snap in front of me either. So, hey.
It worked out well. So, okay, just a quick question about this. When practice, what did you guys do when you didn't actually practice the long snapping? Or you didn't practice like field goals or extra points? Were you guys on the field with everyone else? Or were you?
Oh, I had to play every single practice. I was on the scout.
Okay.
And I had to play against John Randall almost every day. So there you go. Now my day was super easy. Super easy.
Well, you would have been hellacious then if they played you because you went against him.
I mean, anything would have been easier than that.
Because he always took plays off even in practice, right?
He didn't take anything off. I mean,
That guy
I walked down the street.
he had a motor, man.
God. Johnny the Motor Randall.
Motor, yeah.
He would go down. I was walking with him and we were playing
even
overseas
when
in
he walked,
Tokyo,
it's
and he
fast.
would walk and do a swim move on those parking meters and like a telephone pole. I'm like, Johnny, people are going to think you're crazy over here. They don't even know what you're doing right now.
He didn't care.
He didn't care. He didn't
that's
care.
great.
He didn't care. But he was
A free agent.
a great athlete and a free agent.
Isn't that something?
Amazing.
Yep. And all right, we got to take another break. The Window Store is the place to go. They are the sponsor of this show, along with others. They are it's terrific. 20% off, as Jim mentioned. They are premium home solutions at affordable prices. So check out the Window Store at thewindowstoreinc.com. Take a quick break. JimBob Sports Jamboree. Be right back. We are back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree. Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, the superstar Mike Morris, Fox 9's Jim Rich. You are the dean of sportscasters in Minnesota.
My name is Jim.
Jim Dean. Sausage makes a good sausage.
Make a sausage.
Oh, you are. I mean, you are the longest sir. I know the people talk about what's this.
What's the show brought to you by?
He doesn't want to talk about how good he is.
We won't be.
The Window Store. It brought to you by the Window Store and the dean of sports casters in Minnesota.
You know, do you need roofing? Do you need siding? Do you need windows? Do you need your kitchen redone?
You see how he's throwing that away from him? He's deflecting from his own attention.
The Window Store.
Look at that.
That is the place to go. Tyler is the man.
And you know what Tyler told me? He decided to become the sponsor because he gets to work with the dean of sportscasters in the state of Minnesota.
Two guys on that side of the table.
I love the dean.
That's what he wanted.
That's what he wanted. Well, he's got it.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful.
All right. How about Sunday's game?
Oh my God. You need to take some credit where credit is due.
You do.
Quit throwing it away.
I usually before I get credit.
All right.
A lot of times they go, you got to pay your bill first. No credit.
There you go.
He's so awkward about this.
I know.
Hey, you tell me I'm good. Come on, bring it.
Yeah.
No one ever does.
Bob, he won't.
I'm not gonna slough it off.
Great. Bob's.
Yeah, tell me more. See,
It's unbelievable.
Jim is the best. He is the best.
article.
The absolute best.
Articles that you write have changed.
These other guys are
sports
bums.
writing.
They're bums. I can't even tell you who they are.
Bunker Bob.
'Cause I don't watch them. I only watch Jim Rich Fox 9. All right, so finish your question there. It was about the games.
The defense and what they did. How much did Blake Cashman add back into the bag of tricks for Brian Flores?
Yeah, wow.
Or was it Mac Jones? Because it seems like when they go against an inexperienced quarterback,
Right.
they make him look more inexperienced.
So Cashman, he's a playmaker. So certainly he made a difference. He brings that confidence. He brings that level of consistent play that you need to have at that position, and he lifts up that defense. So it's good to have him back. And a lot of things that people were doing, after he got hurt, they weren't able to do. So
I was talking to Harrison Smith this week, and we were talking about how much fun this defense is, and he says I love Flores because he's always trying different things. And I told him my favorite is when you have like 9 guys on the line, and then you guys go sprinting, and he goes, at my age, those plays suck. Because he goes, I got to sprint 20 yards back right off the snap. And the play hasn't even started yet. And I'm already winded. Now I got to go cover somebody and find somebody. But he said, I said, that's what I think is so cool about this defense. And he goes, no, what's the coolest thing to me is the level of intelligence that we have in this group. everybody knows everybody's position, so then they can read off of that because they know what you're thinking and where you're headed. And he says that allows us to gamble on footballs.
That's it. When you have a team assembled, 11 guys that know and understand the big picture instead of just their spot,
Right.
and they understand the big picture and where to go, and the stunt is here, so I know I've got to fill here, and it just goes together like, it meshes like just a perfect machine should. It's oiled and it's running well, and that's the difference between an assignment-oriented team where you just know your assignment A to B, and how it flows, how the big picture flows, and how how that net comes together in the secondary and comes together to make a defend a pass. So, that's what we've got now. I think that the difference in Flores from last year right now is that he has put players that he really likes, plugged them in. He got Van Ginkel from the Dolphins, and he's plugged a Cashman.
You got the whole back end now.
Was
Gilmore,
Cashman
you're not trying to.
I have to ask a question. Was Cashman in hot water with Flores at one point, where he was just not being seen on the field as much, or was that an injury?
Well, he had the turf toe, right?
I knew that.
But before that, I don't know. I'd have to ask Blake. I don't have any intel on that, but and then I pushed Harrison. It goes, the standard. What do we all ask? Is this the best defense you've ever been a part of? And he goes, I'm not going to rank them.
Yeah.
But he said the pieces that we added were guys that fit what he wants to do. Last year he had a Caleb Evans who couldn't figure it out. He had guys that he had to cover for. Now it's almost everybody knows they're smart enough, they're veteran enough savvy to, like you said, okay, I see you're breaking that way, so I know I got to cover your slot over here, and boom, I'm there. Or I know Van Ginkel says, the thing about it is he teaches us all everybody's position, Flores does, and he says, so that's how I pick off those passes because I know somebody's right over here. So if I take a stab at it and miss and might get
you're covered.
There's a guy right there.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think Harrison is leaning into too. He says it's so much fun because everybody understands what we got going.
So quick questions, and we could close with this. This week, Brian Flores talked about he'd like to be a head coach again. I don't know, as great as he does, some teams won't touch him because he sued the NFL, sued a couple of teams, the Jets and I think the Panthers. And he absolutely should be a head coach. I mean, he was successful in Miami. Do you guys think he'll get an opportunity to be a head coach?
I do.
I do too.
I hope he does. He should.
Well, you got to understand, how can you come to a head coach asking him to, pretty much throw games so you can get highest draft choice?
Not a guy like him.
Not him. The guy's got integrity.
Yeah.
The players see that. They know if you're in a back alley and you had to go back to back to get out of it, every one of those players will be right there with him.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of guy he is. And so I do expect him to be a head coach, and I expect him to be a successful one.
And I think that it's his personality is that he's not going to take any bull from anybody.
Yeah.
I think that he's a man's man. I think he stands up for himself. He's a straight shooter. That's why he had a problem with the NFL. He's not afraid to stand up against those guys. And so that's the kind of mentality you want as a head coach too.
Yeah.
Wrap it up, Jim.
Well, I just think that, if you hire him, maybe he'll get you out of the lawsuit. So that would be what I was looking at if I'm an owner. I'm like, that's what? Good point. Because look at the Vikings. I mean, they're sitting great. The Wolves are great. They're fine. You sue the league, but we love you, man, and we'll take you.
So next coach of the Jets.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Carolina. All right. Gentlemen, always fun. To the listeners, we're going to be back with you every single frickin' week. So we'll see you next week.
On behalf of Vikings legend Chuck Foreman and Fox 9's Jim Rich, I'm Bob Sansevere, and I want to say thank you to all of our listeners and our radio partners, KXRA in Alexandria, KRWC in Buffalo, KDHL in Faribault and Owatonna, KDAL and WDSM in Duluth, WNMT in Hibbing, KTOE in Mankato, AM 660 The Bear, WBHR in St. Cloud, and Wild 102 FM in Roseau. Also, KWOA AM FM in Worthington, and KKBJ in Bemidji, and Bob Total Country serving the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and surrounding areas. We'll talk to you later.